Thank you, Richard, for that glowing, inaccurate biography. Well, but you have a belly dancer on here too. So we have a belly dancer and me, the pole dancer. So do you folks know what Richard told me about you? He said he felt blessed to have you. Now I see why. So it's just so fun. I so miss the Arboretum at Davis, my old stomping grounds. I rode my bicycle all over that town and rode my bicycle on the Arboretum. And I just really miss that. So you lucky folks. So on to It's a Clear Day, and I can see clearly now. That happens when we get rid of all this monkey mind in our intellectual brain and go to that place of wisdom that's deep inside. Then we can see clearly. Everything gets more clear about all the chaos in the world and all the challenges that we're facing at this time. So can you all see this? Is it turned backwards? You can see it. So all of the answers are within all of them. This is a little refrigerator magnet that I picked up 15 years ago at Unity of Nashville, Tennessee. And for some reason at the time, it just resonated with me, and it has resonated with me ever since. You have those things that when you move, you take with you, and other things that you just kind of leave behind. But there are certain things that just mean the world to you. And this meant the world to me then, and it means the world to me now. So that's the title of my talk. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about that power of wisdom. And I'm so grateful that we're doing this power, because I'm realizing how very important that power is. All the powers, I love the powers, the 12 powers. And this one, if I had known about this power earlier in my life, I would have prevented a lot of painful experiences. And when we talk about wisdom, we talk about discernment. And if I had just known that word. So we're talking about, am I still showing on the screen? Okay. All the answers are within you, all of them. And the first step is in developing an awareness of and a believing that there are answers to life's challenges. Do you ever wonder, there's just seems to be no answer to this problem, this chaos, this challenge, this difficulty, this all that's going on. And if you're thinking, no, I always believe there are answers, I might have time to tell you a little story about how I always thought that too. But something happened to me a few weeks ago that made me question, because at that time I was blindsided. It's like when you're in the forest too close to see the trees. It was like, I don't know what to do with this. And I was freaking out. And I didn't think there were any answers. And that's when I had to do what I'm going to ask you to do today. And that is to renew and revitalize your hope that you can find answers in those situations that catch you off guard, that trigger you, that means so much to you that you just lose your poise. And the next step is just knowing that the answers are there, available, as close as our next breath. That close. I'm going to share screen right now. I think I'm going to share screen. The great spiritual geniuses, whether it was Moses, Buddha, Plato, or Socrates, or Jesus, or even Ralph Waldo Emerson, who, as you know, is the father of the Transcendentalist movement, out of which New Thought and Unity sprung. All of those have taught us to look within ourselves to find God. And this was said by Ernest Holmes. in the New Thought movement. And then, do you know James Trapp, Reverend James Trapp from Spiritual Life Center in Sacramento? He said, when faced with a seemingly insolvable problem, declare there is always a solution. This is a powerful affirmation because your mind will go on a hunt, and be directed to an energy where only solutions exist. And that answer is deep inside us. Wow. So we're talking about the power of wisdom, the power where we intuitively discern and we make heart connections. And we cannot not use this power or any of the powers. We're always using them. But a lot of the times, the problem is that we're using them unconsciously. And that can come around and bite us on the tail. We just go around discerning blithely this and that without even realizing what we're doing, without even having a focus to it, without even thinking about what we're doing. And sometimes that might be useful or good for our evolution of our consciousness, and other times, not so much. If we use it unconsciously, often, have you seen people who make choices that lead to behaviors that are not effective for them and those around them, that are not constructive? They're kind of wishy-washy. They have no ability to discern good from bad, no filter about that, no healthy boundaries. They're indecisive. They're always looking for the answers, not finding them, and never make decisions or choices that need to be made. And when they do, sometimes they're choices that are hurtful or harmful, destructive. Sometimes when we're using it blithely without thinking about it, it's egocentric, meaning that we get highly judgmental of other people, critical of other people and of ourselves. It's not helpful. And it can be inappropriately discriminatory, as in things like sexism and racism and ageism, and all the isms. So that's when we're caught in our ego, and we're not using then this power to its highest ability. And we're all faced with these temptations every day. And regarding the temptations that we face, it's like, when you're in the grocery store and you go down the cereal aisle and you're tempted to buy these cereals because, well, how they're neat, they're beautifully, colorfully packaged, and on the aisle at the eye level of the kids where they want this. And, if you read the label, it would say sugar, 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 and all this fillers and all this stuff. But we see all the colors and we're tempted to buy into them, those cereal aisles. And in our lives, we also have aisles that are called things like addiction, substance abuse. You'll never amount to anything. You can't do it. You're not good enough. You don't have the education it takes to succeed. It's too late to start over. I'll never dig out from this financial burden. I'll never find that soulmate that I'm looking for because I'm not worthy. And who would want you anyway? Oh, ever been down one of those aisles? Those aisles, like the cereal aisles, are well crafted. They're designed to steal your hope and your joy. They're gauntlets that are designed to erode your happiness. You don't have to walk down those aisles. You don't have to buy what the world is selling. You don't have to let someone else's negativity rob you of your happiness. And those are ruses that are designed to keep you off balance. And they are attempts to block your good. And they're just like the cereals. The messages are subtle. around the packaging, the messages in the packaging, and sometimes not so subtle. Sometimes they're blatant. They're attempts to demean you, to limit you. And they are only self-centered products of a worldly marketing consciousness that have lost their wisdom teeth, their wisdom. That written by Paul Hasselbeck, who was a dentist at one time, lost their wisdom teeth. And you know those cereal boxes full of nutrition facts, as are the aisles of outer appearance in our world, full of nutrition facts, so to speak. So check out the nutritional value the next time you have a slight, someone slights you, or the next time you experience a hurtful comment or a slam. You will find that there is no, zilch, nada nutritional value associated with slights or slams or demeaning language, fear messages, gossip, hurtfulness. And you know, whenever we look outside for the answers, they always fall short. So what do you do? We become truly, truly conscious of how we're using that power of wisdom in this now moment and each moment, and get it under wise control, using wisdom to be the best we can be, the best human we can be, the more Christ-like person we can be, so that we can see beyond the appearances of other people and what the world looks like now. We can see beyond the appearances of what we are telling ourselves about ourselves and what we are telling ourselves about others. We can see beyond the appearances of them and their behaviors and what they're saying and the things that we so disagree with, that are so disappointing and frustrating. We can see beyond our ego and personality, and we can see beyond the appearances of their ego and their personality and their actions and our actions, their behaviors, our behaviors. We can see beyond all of that and their attitudes and our attitudes. We look inside ourselves as we look out to others. And when we use wisdom, we have a deep, deep inner knowing beyond what people tout as facts. And when we encountered conflicting information, you ever encountered conflicting information lately? Then we have the wisdom to know the difference between worrying about a situation versus going into the silence and claiming the divine ideas that bring real solutions, clear, simple solutions, insights. We know the difference between playing the victim card versus standing in integrity, in our integrity, standing firm. It helps us stay centered, and we can better manage uncomfortable feelings, difficult interactions. Do you have any of those lately? It helps us think more clearly. We can see clearly now. It helps us respond to challenges deliberately rather than react automatically. It helps us to be guided by our values rather than derailed by discomfort. It helps us to remain calm in the midst of troubled world. It helps us move through difficult situations with ease and grace. Wisdom for uncertain times like these, where we risk reaching out. We risk listening to ourselves, to that still small voice inside, our intuition, where we risk listening to others, where we risk holding, understanding. Chaotic times where we risk being heard, receiving. We risk being held. We risk being helped. We risk letting ourselves be vulnerable. We risk letting ourselves be fully present and poised in the midst of unsettling times. It's in our spiritual DNA, a reservoir of wisdom within. And when we claim that wisdom at the deepest level, the highest level, we achieve that peace and serenity and health and happiness that we seek. And we all have it. And we have what it takes to master the human experience. Jesus said, anything I can do, you can do better. Oh, that power of wisdom goes so much deeper than what any of us realize. That intuition is our aha and our uh-oh, our consciousness, our conscience. And we know when we're on track, when we feel heaven. And that wisdom is in our gut, in our solar plexus. It's our intuition, it's our GPS. And we may suddenly, without contemplation, know what to do. Isaiah 30, verse 21 says, your ears shall hear. This is the way. Walk in it. And you know, it's not so much about looking or latching on, like trying to latch onto a bubble. You can't. But it's about accepting that it's there. Have you ever seen the book, The Fish Who Searched for Water? Can you see this? The Fish Who Searched for Water. I hope you can see it. Yes? It's a children's book. Once upon a time, there was a fish, a little fish, who never felt at home. He had a special wish. He dreamed of finding water, enough to quench his soul, to take away his loneliness and make his pieces whole. Where, oh, where is water? Sought the little fish. I'll shrivel up if I can't find this wish. Is it here in the books? Is it out here in the magic ball with a magician? He looked, he searched, and no one had the answers that he would trust. So he swam and he swam and he swam, and he almost drowned when he leaped into the air, and it didn't have the nutrient that fishes need. Okay, fast forward, all the things he went to. Then finally he said, I see. The water I seek is right here. All the time. It surrounds me right now. Somehow it seems it's inside me. Oh, wow. I don't need to swim or to seek or to look. To discover the water I simply mistook. I don't need to struggle or quest or breathe air to experience water. It's already there. The fish who searched for water. Sometimes you won't get the answers now, maybe because you're not ready to live them, but you just keep practicing and the intuition becomes louder. You just peel off the layers of the stuff that sits over the gateway to within, where we can get in touch with that place inside that guides us. And gradually, without noticing it, we live our way into the answers. Let that wisdom whisper words of wisdom. Let that divine center whisper words of wisdom, the Beatles song. The courage to lift that lid and look in on your quest for a deeper truth. And no matter the ladder of your life, conflicts you might be experiencing, the heartaches, there is more in you. There's dignity. There's a kingdom of a state of being, of heaven or hell, whichever you choose. Just pay attention. And in Philippians 4, chapter 8, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is noble, whatever is pure, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about those things. Dwell on these things. All the answers lie within you. If you need to go in the silence of your soul to find the answer, You need to go into the silence of your soul to find the answer.